Dylan Raiola, named QB1 at Nebraska. You remember Dylan Raiola, last seen lighting up the spring game in Lincoln. Our eyes all work. I said this on our reaction video yesterday. Everybody pretty much assumed this was going to be the case at some point in time. When? Nobody really knew. But this was the assumption. We asked Matt Rule, even before seeing Dylan Raiola during spring practice and that spring game, hey, when do you want to name a starting quarterback? Is it something goes into the fall? Is it something you want to get done during spring football? When do you want to do that? And he was very matter of fact. He's like, I don't want to play games with people. When we know who our guy is, we're going to make sure that everyone else knows who our guy is. When we know, we know. Nebraska, as of yesterday, they know it's Dylan Raiola. Nebraska fans, y'all have been good to us, and we appreciate you for it. If you have not yet subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel, now is the time. Dylan Raiola era, it's upon us. We're going to talk a lot about your Huskers, so make sure you're dialed in here so you don't miss a minute of what we have going on this platform, the On3 YouTube channel. Thanks for being subscribed. So what does this actually mean? If I'm a Nebraska fan, I'm excited for a number of reasons. The first of which being, just quite frankly, I would be impatient if Dylan Raiola were on my roster and not starting. You don't have to wait. Okay, you get to see what he is from the jump. And the fact that you get to see him, I think, speaks to his readiness to play college football. Like, Matt Rule would not trot this dude out there if he didn't think he gave them the best chance to win football games. Okay, so if you start to question, is Dylan Raiola the guy? Is it too soon? Is it too early? I promise you, they think he's ready. That's why he was named the starter. They're going to let him go. Okay, so that's encouraging in itself that he's ready to play college football. The other part of this that's encouraging is if he wasn't playing, think about just the narrative every single week that would be hanging over the Nebraska broadcast every single game. It'd be, well, I don't know here. Maybe Dylan Raiola should get a chance here this next series. Nebraska just threw another interception. Nebraska's trailing by 10. Maybe Dylan Raiola should get a shot. Like, that would always be the black cloud hanging over this football team, especially if they had issues offensively. So the fact that that's not going to be a talking point, I think, is encouraging for Nebraska fans. Now, we know what Nebraska's offense is. We know like the floor of what it looks like. The reason why, because the quarterback position last year left a lot to be desired. That's not to point the finger at any one guy. There was a lot of different, individuals that tried their hand at that position. The team overall averaged a 52% completion percentage and an interception rate of 6%. Both of those among the worst in America. Nebraska, offensively, we do know they're going to run the football. They're going to try to control the line of scrimmage. They're going to try to stay on schedule, be ahead of the sticks, set themselves up for like 3rd down and 2, 3rd and 3. That's where they want to live, okay? We know that about them. So we look at what it was, and again, we know what it is. The exciting thing with Dylan Raiola is, man, what can it be with 15 running the show? And the immediate thought is like, well, hey, that splash play he had during the spring game, all we hear about is the arm talent. Whenever you get to see some of the practice footage, whether it be like routes on air or whatever, the ball just flies out of his hand and it looks pretty from the jump. And that's exciting for sure. Like, the ability to stretch the field is something I think they will ask him to do at some point in time. The thing that's more exciting to me, if I'm a Nebraska fan, is the routine plays he can make. Because I mentioned 52% completion percentage. Y'all, that's not winning football, obviously. By Nebraska missing the bowl game again last year. Talk about that completion percentage. Talk about their 3rd down conversion rate. 37%. Again, in the bottom 3rd of all of college football. That's not good enough. That's not good enough to get it done. So why are they so bad on 3rd down? Why do they struggle so much? Well, some of that goes back to them not completing the passes. That's one part of it. I think the other part is them setting up winnable 3rd downs. And Dylan Raiola now, just, I believe, being, quite frankly, a more efficient option for them at quarterback, you're going to have much more winnable 3rd downs. You're going to have much more 3rd and short. That's encouraging for me if I'm a Nebraska fan. And I think that's the task for him from the jump. Again, we said it in our reaction video yesterday. It's not so much about, man, can Dylan Raiola spin it 60 yards and hit Jamal Banks in stride for a touchdown? Yes, he can. I think he will. I think that'll be exciting when it happens, and that'll make SportsCenter. But the plays that are actually going to make Nebraska a bowl team in 2024 is hitting the quick out on 3rd and 5, being able to move the sticks on 2nd and 7 and get them 3rd and 1, hitting that slant and not turning the football over. If he doesn't turn the football over and they stay on schedule, Nebraska's going to be more than good enough offensively. More than good enough. Will they score 40 a game? Let's take it one step at a time, but I do think Dylan Raiola just brings you a lot more efficiency, a lot more security, and I think a lot more consistency with how he throws the football. Now, at the exact same time, here's the discussion we have to have. Dylan Raiola is a true freshman. With true freshman quarterbacks, regardless of what level of college football you're playing, there is going to be some true freshman moments. Okay, I get he was there during spring practice. I get that he is just a physically gifted human being when it comes to throwing the football. Like, God gave him a lot of ability he didn't give a lot of other people, but at the exact same time, he's still figuring out college football. And so when he has that game that he throws, 2 picks, let's just say that happens. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for a freshman quarterback to have a freshman ugly kind of game. If and when that happens, understand now that that's one data point. But again, we say this a lot. What they are in week 1 is not what they're going to be when they play Ohio State week 7. Not what they're going to be when they play Iowa late in the year. Okay, so for Dylan Raiola, that's one sort of, word of caution to the Nebraska fan base. Let's be patient. Let's let him progress. He's not a finished product. You got at least 3 years of this dude. Understand this is a jumping off point. So give him some time. Now, to the folks calling the shots at Nebraska, this would be my hope for Dylan Raiola. My hope is that when you commit to Dylan Raiola as your starting quarterback, as you did yesterday, it is a till death do us part kind of situation. It is a for better or worse situation. Because the worst thing I believe you could do for Dylan Raiola his first year as the guy is to bruise his confidence and make him feel insecure about what he's going to be if he does get the job back at Nebraska. Let's say he goes out there, has that 2-interception game. I don't think you bench him. I think you let him go through it, let him play through it. Understand that physically, I think he still gives you the best chance to win until you have reason to believe otherwise. Let him play through it. You got to give him the confidence to know, like, hey, you are our guy. If something goes well, awesome. If something goes poorly, respond. A big thing with Matt Rule is like, hey, what's next? Like, if something good happens, what's next? Hey, turnover, what's next? That's kind of his approach. That's the same approach I'd like to see them have with Dylan Raiola. One more thing I'll say, Heinrich Haarberg probably has to have a role. In my opinion, he's too good of an athlete. He's too big of a body. He should some way, shape, or form be involved in this offense. Is that a package at quarterback? Is that him playing H-back? I don't know, but I think he has to have a role. But Dylan Raiola, starting quarterback at Nebraska, we all saw it coming. Happened yesterday. Vibes are high in Lincoln, and for good reason. You got your quarterback of the future, and his time is right now. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.